Hi, welcome to Psychic Tapestry. I'm Ken Kessler, and she is Lisa Kessler. Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
Thanks for being on today. We are recording this on Valentine's Eve, and it should actually, if all goes well, be making it out to streaming places later tonight, so that you'll have it for Valentine's Day.
Hey.
Because we're just thoughtful that way. Um, Thanks for listening, by the way. If you want to reach out to us, there are a couple ways you can do that. You can find us at Facebook, facebook.com/psychic tapestry. You can find us on Threads, Instagram, Blue Sky, all at Psychic Tapestry. So lots of ways that you can reach out. You can also, if you're listening on your phone, you can click on the send us a text message link and connect that way. So lots of ways that you can connect. You can also go to psychictapestry.com, by the way. Anyhow, because Valentine's Day is nigh, we wanted to talk about manifesting love. And that's probably the number one thing that people call or email or message a podcast like this. The number one thing. And one of the things I always like to share is from a call that we got several years ago when we were doing this podcast on Blog Talk Radio from a woman. And I'll admit I have probably embellished this over the years, but
What?
I know, shocking. For the most part, she wanted to know when he was coming back. He being the guy that broke up with her. And when we asked some questions, she told us that he broke up with her. He blocked her on social media. He moved to another town. He got married to someone else. And the someone else he's married to, they are expecting their first child. But she wanted to know when he was coming back to her. And the obvious thing is, first, he ain't. He's not coming back. And the other thing that I think a lot of people don't think about is why. Why would you want this person back? I mean, in this case, it's somebody who broke up with you for whatever reason, blocked you, moved away, married somebody else. Why would you want somebody like that back? And maybe that's an exaggerated um, situation, but if you broke up with someone for whatever reason, whether it was cheating, whether it was there's a million reasons but for whatever reason, and that issue hasn't been resolved at all, why do you want to? Nothing has been fixed. I know that there's comfort in not having to find somebody new and start all over again. There's comfort in that, but why would you want to go through all that again when nothing has been changed? So anyhow, so I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about Valentine's Day, and I thought Lisa runs metaphysical manifesting, and I'm sure that she gets plenty of people who want to know about manifesting love too. So I thought this would be something really timely to talk about, but it would work not just right before Valentine's Day, but really anytime that you are looking for love. So let's start with the basics. If somebody says to you that they want to manifest love, what is your response?
Well, usually my first question is, have you figured out how to love yourself first? And it's easy for people to off the cuff say, oh, yeah, I love myself. I'm fine. But the reality is, you really have to look a little deeper than that because a lot of times we feel like we need a relationship because there are open spots inside of us and we want someone to fill them up. And that's how you end up in a codependent relationship, or maybe you have discovered that you're in this pattern where you always pick the wrong person, or, the emotionally unavailable partner and things like that. And a lot of the time it's happening because really you aren't really ready, because inside you have all these empty spaces that you need to fill. It's not the other person's job to fill them. There is no one who can love you enough if you have all of these big holes inside, because you're so insecure at that point that you end up becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy of, oh my God, they're leaving, oh my God, are they cheating, oh my God. And eventually that you're manifesting what you don't want. So my first question is always to really take an honest look at yourself. Are you okay having a date night with yourself at home alone, watching a movie? Are you okay going to a restaurant with a book and just reading your book and enjoying time with yourself, or going to the beach with you and your dog? And if you're not, if it makes you uncomfortable being alone, then you're probably not really ready to manifest that relationship, because you're going to manifest something that probably is broken because inside you're not whole yet. So if somebody wants to manifest love, that's always the first place I start, is inside. How are you when you're alone? How, are you just looking for someone so that you don't have to be alone? That's not really a good reason either. And then once you've conquered, you've filled the empty spots, then you can start thinking about, if I had a relationship, how would I want the relationship to raise the quality of my life? Like, if you are very earth conscious and you want to go clean up trash at the beach on the weekend, and you want to recycle and you want to do all these things, perhaps you should go volunteer to do some of those things, because you'll meet people who share that same passion. So I always counsel people to not really make a list of the person, make a list of the relationship, of what things you want out of this, because then what happens is you're reading that list and you're sending that energy out to the universe, and then you have to take action and show up. Like I was saying, go volunteer, go to the concerts you love, go, because honestly, no one's going to come knock on your door and say, here I am. You have to like put yourself out there. So you have to be willing to take action. But when you go out there, you have been reading this list. And what will happen is the universe can line up that person who has the same relationship list. And both of you meet and you're like, oh my God. And that's how it all can come together for you. I think back to when Ken and I met, we didn't even meet in person. We were in an online critique group. We both wanted to be writers and have a book published. And so we instantly had that in common. And, it's a common bond. And then we discovered we were both going through divorces at the same time. So here's someone who understands how I'm feeling, and things can grow from that. So you really, if you don't know what you need out of a relationship, how can the universe know who to put in your path? So if you are open to a relationship and you know that you're ready, you're not just trying to fill a hole, you aren't just trying to not have to spend any time alone with your thoughts, then you make that list of a relationship. I want someone who likes these kind of movies, I want someone who has a job, I want someone who loves dogs, whatever is on your list, whatever is important to you. And that way you're sending out that energy to the universe, and you can become a magnet for people like that to cross your path. But again, they can't cross your path if you're not out there. So you got to take action on your own behalf and put yourself out there, which can be scary. But it really is wishful thinking that they're going to knock on the door and go, there you are. So,
Um, I am I'm a Virgo, and I'm a big fan of lists, as you well know. And probably listeners who have been with the Psychic Tapestry podcast for a while probably know that too. I usually suggest to people, as far as a relationship list goes, to get out a legal pad. My favorite. I love legal
That's
pads.
Ken's favorite.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Get a legal pad and start to make a list of all the things that you think you want in a partner. And this idea came about when someone else had been on Psychic Tapestry who said that they were looking for love. And I said, well, what is it that you want? And they were really stuck for an answer. They didn't know what they wanted. They just wanted love. They just wanted that idea of somebody to share their days with, somebody to share meals with, somebody to share whatever with. But they didn't have any sort of an idea of what that looked like. So I came up with this idea to make a list of everything you can think of that you would want in a potential love and make it as extensive as possible. Some of the things can be, very big, very important. Do they want children? Do they have a job? Are they kind? Big things like that can be on the list. Do they like country music? Do they like seafood? Do they like superhero movies? All of that kind of stuff, all of the things that you like and you want to share, think about all of those things and make your list. And this is not something to sit down one afternoon and give it 10 minutes and make a list and go, there, done. This is something that you should take some time with and make your list of everything that you can think of, every possible thing, big and small. Do they like peas? Do they like sports? Do they, anything that you can think of, whether it's your likes or whether it's something that you want in in a partner, in a love, and make it just exhaustive. Fill up as many pages as you can. Come back to it in another day or two or three and keep going until you just can't think of anything else. And then when you get to that point, go through and cross off the things that you don't think really matter. Do you care if they have brown eyes or blue eyes or green eyes? Does that really matter? Maybe not. Okay, cross that off. Does it matter to you if they like country music? Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. If it doesn't, cross it off. But but going through this kind of exercise, it helps you know what you're looking for. So when you find it, you'll recognize it. Otherwise, I know that there's something to be said for any port in a storm, but that's and there are plenty of people who are not looking for Mr. Right, they're looking for Mr. Right now. And that's fine too. But if you're looking for something more than that, this gives you sort of a framework of what you're looking for. And I think Lisa's absolutely right about getting out there and living your life. Because if you're just waiting, hoping that the UPS man is going to come by and he's going to be the one, you're going to be sad and you're going to be lonely. And it just builds from there. And and when you've well, I don't want to get too far ahead. Um, you have thoughts on what I've been going on and on and on about?
Yes, I was glad you said cross off the eye color because I was going to add that you shouldn't put physical attributes of the person on your list only because you can end up accidentally blocking blessings. So there is this thing called this or better. When you're manifesting, you should always leave the outcome to the universe. So you tell the universe what you want and why you want it, and then the universe will deliver how. and when. And so the thing with love is a lot of times people cross off amazing matches off of their list because they think he needs to be 6'1". Well, the universe has found this guy who is so much better than what you were dreaming, and he's 5'10". And you just block that blessing. No, thank you. That's not what's on my list. And the universe was like, well, okie dokie. He makes twice as much money as what you were hoping for. He loves dogs, already has one that you would have loved, and wants children and wants to get married. And you just kicked him out because he's a few inches shorter than what was on your list. So I'm a big believer in what the relationship needs to be. And the other reason for that is that if you get too caught up in the physical attributes, you go on a visual quest for this person. You are looking at people, and that leads people back into those toxic cycles. I only date blonde people who are this tall, who, wear cowboy boots or whatever. And what if your perfect person is a couple inches shorter than that, a couple pounds heavier than that, or wears jogging shoes? Or, if you get too caught up in the visuals, you can miss such an important connection like love, real deep, long lasting love, because you're so caught up in the visual of it. And another thing that's interesting is that if you can make your list of what a relationship would look like for you, what you want out of it. I want somebody who will watch chick flicks with me every Friday, whatever. What will happen is these synchronicities, there are no coincidences, but synchronicities will happen where, maybe you decide you're going to take yourself on a date night to go see a chick flick that just came out, and you go to the movie theater, and in that same row there is a gentleman who also brought himself on a date to see this chick flick, and he's alone, and you guys keep looking at each other with your popcorn. You don't even know how tall he is, but you know that he was willing to take himself to a chick flick alone. So there is possibly a connection there. And so if you cannot get wrapped up in how this love is presented, what vessel it comes in, you open yourself up for this or better. And so try really hard. I know that we live in a visual culture, and you see, all the Instagram filters and all that, but the reality is none of that is real. A beautiful person is on the outside is wonderful, but if they are toxic on the inside, or they don't meet those things you were hoping for out of a relationship, are you going to stay because visually you like looking at them? Maybe for a little while, but long term, I don't know. So I would recommend, if you're making this list, to leave looks out of it, just because I'm afraid you'll miss your perfect match because you are so busy visualizing what they look like. So try really hard to keep it open so that the universe can give you this or better. So I would recommend, don't worry about what they look like, worry about what they care about, what they're passionate about, what you guys are going to do together. If you love to go hiking, go hike and see who you meet. But if you're open about what they look like, you open it up to this or better, to getting someone who is even better than you dreamed of.
And as far as taking action, it can be scary and daunting to do stuff on your own. I totally get that. And that's okay. You got to live your life. You got to do things that you enjoy rather than just staying home and feeling like you can't do those things because you're single. Um, get some of your friends and go do things that light you up. Do think, and it doesn't have to be, some giant expensive thing. Go bowling if you like that. Go to karaoke. Go to Fridays and get appetizers if they still do that. I haven't been to Fridays in years, but you know, go do something that you enjoy doing, and you'll if you're having a good time, you will glow. You will send that energy out, and somebody is gonna notice that and say, I don't know who that is, but I want to find out. The other thing about that is, and I want to manage expectations. I'm not suggesting that if you and your friends go bowling, you're going to find the perfect person at the bowling alley with you, but you're going to have a good time doing something that you love. So even if that particular night you don't meet Mr. Wonderful or Miss Wonderful, you've been out with your friends and you had a great time. And and that's a good thing, and that helps you feel better about you if you're living your life and doing things that you enjoy. And that gives you something else to share when the universe does present someone for you that, yeah, I saw you having a great time bowling the other night and I was too scared to approach you, but you were there again this week and I'd love to get a cup of coffee and talk. Okay, I don't drink coffee, but I'll get tea, but that's fine. But don't be afraid and don't feel like you have to do everything by yourself. You should try and get used to being your own party.
Yes.
Enjoy your own company, whether it's staying at home and watching a movie or whether it's going out to a movie or to a restaurant by yourself or any of the things that Lisa was talking about or anything else that you like to do. Do that too. Live your life. Don't let don't let the search for love become your life because then it becomes like a job interview and no one's going to win because you're going to go out with somebody and you're going to not be you won't be present. You'll be thinking about all of the boxes that they need to check and you'll be nervous and you'll be weighing this and you'll be putting so much pressure on it that it can't possibly move forward. And then you're going to feel like everything is ruined and I blew it. And then it's going to be harder for you to go out next time. So live your life and try and enjoy yourself and don't put pressure on every single person that you meet and start and if you're just having a conversation with somebody, you don't immediately need to start crossing things off because they're not, oh my gosh, they're not going to want to go see the new Captain America movie. Forget it. Forget it. There's no point. Why am I even wasting my time? Don't put that kind of pressure on it.
I had, when I got divorced, my therapist was very good. I had married my high school sweetheart. So I had really never dated a grown man ever. And so I was at a loss as to how to date or find someone. And she took all the pressure off the day she told me, you should make an online profile and just start meeting people for practice. She said they don't have to be Mr. Right. They just need to be Mr. Practice. And oh my gosh, that took all the pressure off. And I learned things. I learned to always do a coffee date first. So you're not stuck with someone for a whole meal when you quickly determine that this is not a good fit. Um, so always have a coffee date first because those are short. Um, but it took all the pressure off so that I could just be me and I could just meet them and determine if we have fun and if we want to meet up again. It doesn't have to be this pressure of this could be Mr. Right. I went into every meeting with I'm practicing and it took off all of the pressure. So I highly recommend that you greet, whether you're meeting Misters or Ms. They're just for practice. They don't have to all be your soulmate. They're just for practice. And if you do feel a little spark there and you guys want to meet up again, eventually they might move out of practice into, this might be a thing. I love spending time with you. And, and then it goes from there. So, what Ken's saying about the every person you talk to being sure that they mark off everything on your list, that's just, it's too much pressure for them and you. So just have fun, be yourself, and just know that there is no pressure. Everyone has, I mean, I know lots of people talk about twin flame and soulmate, but in my experience, there are many people out there that you could love who would also love you. So don't feel like, oh my God, I just lost my soulmate. Or you have a breakup and you think, oh, when are they coming back? Well, why do you want them back? A lot of times it's that we have these memories of the good times and we don't think about all the times that it was not good. And you're looking back with rose colored glasses and hoping that they come back and make you feel that happy way, not the way when they left. And, so again, just go in it with no pressure, with, that I'm just practice, have fun, be you.
I think, we mentioned romantic comedies a couple of times, and I think that those have, I think that those kind of movies have made people's expectations a little unreasonable. That there's the one out there, that there's only one person who is right for you, because oh my God, the pressure that puts on everybody you meet, and that they're going to be the one, or that you're going to worry that somehow there's only one person out there and you turned left instead of right, and then you missed meeting them, and now you're going to be forever alone. The universe isn't going to do that to you in the
No,
first place. In the second place, this whole idea about the one is,
there are many.
yeah, I'm trying not to use bad language, but it's just silly. And the other thing is that, and I think it was in Jeremy Maguire, you complete me.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to find somebody. You shouldn't be looking for somebody who completes you. You should complete you.
Right,
You should
right.
complete you, and find somebody who you enjoy sharing things with. And you should be able to share everything with somebody. You don't have to, but you should be able to. And that's something that often came up on when we were doing this on Blog Talk Radio too, is that there are some things that people said, well, I would never tell I would never tell my boyfriend, husband, whatever, my hopes, my dreams, whatever. If you can't share that kind of stuff, that's not, if you can't share that with whoever you're dating or thinking about dating, that should tell you something. Why can't you do that? Are you embarrassed about it? Or do you think that they're going to laugh at you? Do you think that they're not going to understand? Do you think, I don't know. If you can't do that, ask yourself why. Think about that, because you need to be able to, you shouldn't have to be guarded. You shouldn't have to be you shouldn't
Well, and
have
I
to
feel like a lot of that, again, is you having empty spaces. If
yeah.
you really love yourself, then you offer your authentic self. And if that person can't take it, you love yourself enough to go, this must not be the right fit. I deserve someone who loves all of me. And it's hard to get to that point if you're trying to find somebody to fill those empty spots, because then you change who you are so that you fit what they say they need. And in the end, neither one of you is being authentic. And then eventually you're both unhappy and, everything falls apart. So you need to be secure enough and love yourself enough that that you can be your authentic self. And it takes work. That's why people do therapy. It takes a lot of work to get to that point, but it's so worth it if you have been, in a cycle of bad relationships. It might be worth figuring out, what part of me thinks that's okay, and getting to the end of it. Because when you really do lots of people call it shadow work, but when you really dig into all the parts of yourself, even the parts that you think you can't share with anyone, you have to get to a point where you go, you know what? I love myself unconditionally. And even those parts that aren't awesome, they make me who I am. So I love myself. I'm fine. And the truth is, when you find your right relationship, they're going to be fine with it too. They're going to accept you as you are. The way we get in broken relationships is when we go into a relationship and we think, "Oh, I can change them," or I can change for them. No, change for yourself. You're never going to be able to change for someone else. So those are, again, things you need to work on before you start manifesting love, a relationship.
Okay, I feel like we have given out lots of homework and
Yes.
it can seem overwhelming. And somebody who's listening to this and thinking, well, I thought I thought I was ready, but I don't know. They said so much, I don't know where to start. So, for anybody who is spending this Valentine's weekend alone, or I guess really alone is what we're talking about, who doesn't want to be alone next Valentine's Day, or maybe two Valentine's Day from now, what would you suggest they start with?
Well, do a good reflection into yourself. Be sure that you can be your own party, that you can spend time alone. Be sure that you're not looking for a relationship because you're uncomfortable with your thoughts. Because that's the first sign that you need to work on that shadow work, like I was talking about. Go in, meditate, ask yourself, why can't I go to a restaurant alone with my book? Why do I care what other people think? And ask yourself those kind of questions and meditate on it and really get a handle on being comfortable alone. That would be step one. And
Okay.
then start on the
Okay.
list.
Okay. So for step one, this weekend, go to Starbucks.
Mm-hmm.
Starbucks is not paying for this, by the way. Go to Starbucks, not the drive-through. Go in with your phone. Take your phone with you. Go in, order whatever it is that you want. Um, they have really good tea if you don't like the coffee drinks. Just saying. But go in and order something and find somewhere to sit and sit down and drink whatever it is you have and play on your phone and just sit there by yourself for just a little while till you finish your drink. And and then and then you're free to leave. And you'll get a taste of what that's like. And you'll see, you know what? That wasn't that scary. That was okay. I had something to do. If you don't want to play on your phone, bring a book. You could bring
Book, magazine. Yeah.
I like to bring legal pads and make my to-do lists and stuff. So that's something else that you can do. But just something to sort of entertain yourself and spend a little time with you. And that's quick and easy, and it costs less than $5. I think it
Mm-hmm.
does. And then can't you get a drink? You can get a drink.
Yeah,
Yeah,
depending on
depending on
what
what you get.
size.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that you can't get a pastry or something else if you want. Get whatever you want. I'm not going to be watching. And and I'm also trying not to make this be an expensive thing. But just go and do that and you'll get the feeling of what it's like to go out with just you. And then maybe in a couple of days do it again. And then if you're ready, go to, doesn't have to be expensive. Go to like Applebee's or Fridays or Chili's or someplace like that that's very casual and go by yourself. or go to a movie, or, you know, just to do something by you. I'm trying to, what's something else that somebody can do that doesn't cost much? Or,
Go to the beach or go
okay,
to a park or whatever. Bring a book and go sit by the pool
huh,
outside at some way, if it's like a community pool, somewhere that is not in the safety of your house.
okay.
Um,
There's a big chunk of the country that is getting walloped by a snowstorm right now. So a lot of people are like, what are you talking about? Go to a pool.
we're in Florida, so sorry. It was hot today.
But yeah, but so go to a
Coffee
mall.
shop or go to the
Yeah,
mall or whatever.
yeah. Go somewhere and just do it by yourself. And do this, in stages. Don't try to rush it if you're not comfortable going out just you. Don't don't rush it, because if you rush it and it gets really uncomfortable, you're going to backpedal and you're going to decide, you know what, I can't do this. And I know that you can. So,
You totally can.
yeah. So just take it easy, and you know you have time. You have time to do this, and it's so important that you learn how to enjoy your own company, that you love yourself, and that you love yourself and that you like yourself.
Hmm.
Those are two different things and very important. And and just do that. Just do that a couple of times over the course of the next week, and you'll get used to that. Um, okay, I was going to say, and then, but I'll leave the next step to you.
Well, then it's maybe during one of those times that you're out alone and you're taking Ken's lead with a legal pad, you can start writing down, what a great relationship would look like to you and what you expect would come out of it. What do you expect for spending time with someone? Do you guys want to travel? Do you want to travel internationally? Do you want to camp? Do you want to hike? Do you want, whatever it is that you're hoping for out of a relationship? Because now you know that you can be alone and you do like yourself and you are a prize and you are worthy of a great partner. So when you're making that list, it doesn't have to be that I just don't want to be alone. Your list doesn't have to be he comes home every day. It can be, bigger, better, all these amazing things. So start working on your list. And then when you're ready, you can try an online profile like I did. You don't have to fall in love. It can just be practice. Just practice or get on Meetup. I think Meetup is still a thing, and find some activities that you are passionate about and go show up.
So do something on your own. Doesn't have to cost much. Doesn't have to be scary. I suggested Starbucks. Um, Make a list. Call to action.
Mm-hmm.
That can also be what I was talking about, doing something that you love with friends. I mean, if you don't have friends, or enough friends who are available, then meet up or other things like that are great ideas too, for something that you enjoy. Don't look at those things and go, what's something that an eligible bachelor is going to enjoy doing, and I'm going to go to that. Because if it's not something that you enjoy,
You don't want to be in a relationship with somebody who keeps dragging you to hoedowns and you don't like it.
yes, yeah,
But you went to a hoedown because everyone does line dancing and you'll be next to big tall men.
Yeah.
Then they're going to think you like it because that was where they met you. And next thing you know, you have this life that you really don't like so much. So um, definitely be authentic. And you can get that by loving your whole self and knowing that you're okay just as you are. Then you're
So,
ready.
so this sounds like a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but you can break it down, and it's really, I think, just four things. It's learning to enjoy your own company,
Yep.
whether that's going out to Starbucks or some going to the park or whatever by yourself, um, and being okay with that. And in fact, being better than okay with it, enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
Making a list of what the relationship look that you want
Right.
looks like. Uh, then it's living your life, doing stuff, going out, doing things you enjoy, with or without friends, through meetup, through if we're going to continue the Starbucks thing, and I swear they didn't pay for this, but they have a bulletin board in there with things that are happening in your community, and there are probably all kinds of other places that do the same thing, that you can find something that you're interested in, and that's important. You should be interested in it. So
Mm-hmm.
okay, so live your life, get out there and do something. And then what was the last one that you just mentioned?
Oh, I had said try one of the dating apps and
Okay.
make a profile and put you'll already know what to put in it because you already have your list,
Right.
um, of what you're looking for. And that way someone else who's also open and hopefully has already learned to love themselves, they're going to be looking for somebody with the same list you have. And then just go for practice. Just go for practice. They don't have to be the one. There are thousands of people on those apps. So you do not have to fall in love with the first one. You don't have to fall in love with the first 10. Just practice. It's just for fun.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for fun is a really good way to put it. This should be fun. Let it be fun and let it and instead of making it into a job interview. Because if it's a job interview, you don't want it. It's a job you don't want. So really it's only four things that we're suggesting that you do. And you don't need to do all of those four things this weekend. Don't have to do them all this month. And if you do one, and if you do two, and if you do three, and three's not working and you're starting to worry about it, you can go back and try those other and do it again. And do it until you are comfortable in your own skin with who you are and living your life and finding ways to be happy. And that is really the goal, being happy. And you put that energy out there, the universe is going to send it back to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what more, you know,
The other thing I would add is that a lot of times Valentine's Day makes people feel a lot of feelings, especially when you're alone. My daughter used to call it Singles Awareness Day. Sad. And so if you struggle with the whole Valentine's thing, be your own Valentine. You don't need someone else to love you in order to be worthy. Love yourself, meditate, and talk to your spirit guides and angels. Oh my gosh, so much love. As soon as you open that crown chakra at the top of your head and connect with them, you know that you are loved, you are worthy, and you are amazing. And so don't feel like you need someone else to reflect that back to you. So on Valentine's Day, when everybody's got flowers and chocolates and candies and balloons, really love yourself, be your own Valentine. If you want flowers and chocolates and balloons, go get them for yourself. You
Yeah.
deserve it. You deserve it. So no beating yourself up or I always tell people eyes on your own paper, but no judging your life by what everyone else has because you don't know what they're going through. They're on their own path. It's totally different than yours. And I when I was getting divorced and I was not in a good headspace, I would go places and look at people. And then I had this epiphany. I used to be those people, and I was out with my husband, and we were not happy. And we tried our best to pretend to look happy to everyone else. And it gave me a whole different viewpoint as I'm looking at all these couples going, I don't even know if they're happy. I'm more happy alone than I was. So just don't judge yourself by what everyone else is doing. Be your own Valentine. You are worthy of all those chocolates and balloons or whatever it is that makes you feel all Valentine-y. So don't put a deadline on falling in love. If it takes a while, it's not because you're broken and it's not because there's no one for you. It's because the universe is getting you someone so amazing. And maybe they live on the other side of the country and it's taken a while for everything to come together. Ken and I were on opposite sides of the country when we met. So anything is possible. So just keep living your life and loving yourself and having that list that you can read about what this relationship is going to look like. And it will happen. You got to actually put yourself out there though too. You have to take action. Even if putting yourself out there is just making a profile on a dating site, even that can be like, oh, what did I just do? and, and again, you don't have to see any of those people. So maybe you put up your profile and it's scary and you wait 2 weeks to respond to anyone. And that is fine. There are no rules. You do not have to respond today. Just see how you feel and take these little baby steps and allow the universe to bring you that amazing relationship that you deserve.
And, it's okay if you put up the profile and take it down and put it up and take it down and put it up and take it down. That's okay. Do it until, you should be comfortable with
Yes.
having that out there. And if you screw up your courage and you make a profile and you put it out there and, oh my God, what have I done? And you take it down. That's okay. That's okay. You can do it again. Maybe in a couple days, try again. There's
You
no,
can also edit.
yeah,
You can do all kinds of things. And if no one is responding, that doesn't mean that there's no one for you either. It means tweak something, change something, swap pictures, do whatever. Just make it fun. You're just practicing. None of it has to be, that, oh my God, I did my profile wrong and now I'll never meet him. Nah, you will. You will. It's all working for your highest good and divine timing. And sometimes it's really hard to wait, but it will be worth it in the end.
yeah, absolutely. Um, Before we wrap up and say goodbye, I do want to mention and make Lisa talk about it for a minute that Lisa's first tarot deck has come out about a month ago, I think,
Mm-hmm.
called Practical Tarot. There's a book also by the same title. And for anybody who doesn't know or maybe forgot, can you sort of explain what that's about?
Yes, the Practical Tarot Method is the book, and it's all about learning to read tarot cards intuitively and using them as just a practical tool in your life. Not, it doesn't have to be some mystical oracle. You can use it to decide, you know, what color shirt you're going to wear today. If that's your intention, when you pull those cards and you pull out a card and it's covered in blue, you're like, oh, it's the blue shirt. So it can be that simple. I use them to write books all the time, and the book has all kinds of exercises, so you have excuses to use your cards and get better at trusting, your intuition and what you're getting. And then the Practical Tarot deck is the deck that I have always dreamed of. I've been a professional tarot reader for almost 20 years, and I always wanted a deck where no matter who I'm reading for, there is at least one card in there where they can go, hey, that's me. So the Practical Tarot deck is very diverse. We have all ages, all shapes, all sizes, all colors, it just, it's a labor of love. It turned out so beautiful. And I also did my best to pack all kinds of symbolism, color, everything into the cards so that you don't have to memorize the book. You can turn over that card and your intuition's going to go, hello, and you will get a message without even having to reach for the guidebook. So, anyway, it's been so fantastic to see people posting on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube readings with my deck. It's so cool. So anyway, I hope that you will give it a look, and if it resonates with you, grab one, because tarot can really help you when you're feeling lost, and remind you that you're on the right path, or maybe give you something else to think about that you hadn't considered before that makes you go, huh, I'm going to go this way. And really it can help you facilitate your future that is just so abundant and beautiful, and everything you are worthy of, even though sometimes we don't know if we deserve it. Tarot cards is just a way to get your ego out of the way, so that your intuition and your spirit guides and angels can give you a message that we can't usually hear with our ears. So anyway, if you are curious about tarot or interested, or you've tried it and you can never memorize that book, go grab the Practical Tarot method, because I promise you don't have to memorize a book.
And I will put a link down in the show notes for more info on Practical Tarot, and also a link to Lisa's website for metaphysical manifesting. And no, Ann, that's it. Lisa, thanks for giving up some of your evening for us.
Thank you for inviting me, and happy
And
Valentine's Day.
happy Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to you. Thank you so much for listening. And if you want to get a reading, you can go to psychictapestry.com and click on our teachers and healers and connect with us that way to get a reading. And in the meantime, take care of yourselves. Tell someone close to you that you love them. And we will talk again.